Influencer marketing is the new marketing phenomenon that everyone is talking about. It has become a widely used marketing tactic and is not limited to just a few specific brands. There is a huge growth in the use of influencer marketing for practically all industries. Companies and brands are taking advantage of this trend today more than ever. Hi, I'm Ramon Tarruella, and in this video I'm going to teach you how to become a social media influencer. Influencer marketing has become such a lucrative activity that everyone wants to become an influencer in the respective domain where they work. Now I'm going to explain the steps you must take to become a social media influencer. Number 1, you must select your niche. The first thing is to be clear in the niche in which you are going to work, in the niche in which you are going to develop as an influencer. That's why you must select it based on your interest, and it must be something that you really like, since you will have to create content constantly. It is also highly recommended that you already have a certain level of experience in the area where you will operate as an influencer. Once you become an influencer, your task will be basically doing research, generating the content, and posting it on your social media profiles. That's why it is recommended that you choose a niche which you are passionate about and which you will enjoy spending your time on. Some influencers make a combination of 2 or 3 interests, but not beyond. If you do it very broadly, you will lose the attention of many people, and that's why it is recommended that you go to the specific as an influencer. Number 2, you must optimize your social media profiles to the maximum. Once you have selected the niche where you want to operate as an influencer, the next step will be to choose the social networks where you will work. You must create your profiles on those networks and optimize them to the maximum so that it is attractive to your future followers. You must be clear that influencers fail to be popular on all social media networks at the same time, since each social network is different from the other. In most cases, they manage to be popular on 1 or perhaps 2 social networks. That's why you should focus on promoting your content on a maximum of 2 social networks. Once you have chosen the social media channels where you will post your content, you must create the profiles. You need to optimize them in the best possible way. Here are some essential aspects that you should take into account to optimize your social media profiles. Switch to business type account. If you want to become an influencer, it is recommended that you change your social media account from a personal account to a business account. This is because social media business accounts provide a higher number of options than personal type accounts. Networks like Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter have the option to change your profile to business account. You get this in the settings of your profile. Many people decide to create their social media influencer accounts apart from their personal account. This is something you can also do if you do not want to transform your account into a business account. You must create an attractive biography. Your biography is the first thing that a person will see in your social media account. Therefore, you create an attractive biography so that you make an excellent first impression. In your biography, you should tell your story in an attractive way for your future followers. In your biography, you should also include certain essential aspects. These are full name, the city or town where you live, your contact information, and the area of expertise where you operate. You must add both cover photos and profile photos to your social media accounts. You must add a profile photo and a cover photo to your social media accounts to optimize it in the best way. It is here where you will be able to show your brand and your personal identity. Many times followers recognize their influencers only by the profile photo they have. This is why you must choose a good photo. You must take into account that your photo must be seen clearly, and the quality of the photo must be the best possible one. Number 3, you must understand your audience. Before you start posting content to your social media profile, you must understand your audience. Influencers have connections with their followers. They manage to create them through daily interaction with them, and especially with those who have quite similar interests to them. To become a good influencer, you must know what type of public you are addressing. Once you are clear on this, you should do your best to build a loyal fan base. One way to understand your audience is by analyzing your content followers to determine essential aspects such as where they live and their interests. Almost all social media networks have an analysis tool that will allow you to see your audience details. For example, Twitter Analytics allows you to view your current followers' interests, gender, where they live, and many other details. Number 4, create and post relevant content. Posting content that is useful and quite relevant to your followers is imperative. The more you manage to connect with your audience, the higher the number of people you will influence. Thanks for the recommendations and opinions that you are going to give. This is the most critical requirement to become an influencer. The fact that your followers really listen to you. To do this, you must create a content publishing strategy and mix different types of content. You should preferably focus on the type of content that your audience like the most. Some influencers post on their profiles only based on the niche where they operate. They post things like food, fashion, beauty, and travel. This type of influencers does not like to mix their posts with their personal life, and they stay focused on the niche in which they operate. For example, a food influencer posts recipes, photos of the restaurant he has visited, videos, restaurant reviews, and also promote other companies. There is another type of influencer who prefers to mix the content of their niche with their personal life. This type of influencer on many occasions manage to connect much more with their audience. The fact that they add posts of what has happened in their day by day helps the influencer to be much more authentic. By doing this, they can further strengthen the connection with their audience. That's why it does not matter which of the strategy you choose if you focus only on the niche that you like or are going to mix it with your personal life. The idea is that you can make it as broad as possible. That will help you to establish what is called brand collaboration, which establish business relationship with sponsors who ask you to promote their products in your social media profile in exchange for excellent payments. The posts you make from your sponsor should go naturally with the posts you make from the rest of your regular content. For example, you can make reviews as something that you post regularly in your feed so that you can do reviews of brands that will pay you to do reviews of their product. Generally speaking, you should keep your content strategy focused on your niche, but you shouldn't make it too narrow. You must think in the long term. You must take a perspective that is in the future. You must prepare to be an influencer from the beginning since the moment you create your social media accounts. Number 5, be consistent. Once you have decided on the type of content you are going to post, you must establish a posting frequency. And this must be done by scheduling your content. The fact of posting regularly makes social media platforms give you preference when displaying your posts. In networks like Instagram, this applies a lot, since it is a social network that requires that you post regularly to increase your post visibility. You can choose to post daily, weekly, or other types of frequency in which you feel comfortable. In this aspect, you must consider the platform you are going to use, since specific social networks require that you post more than others. This is the case of Twitter, for example. As its nature is very dynamic, it requires you to post based on a higher frequency than other social networks. You must post several times a day if you want to be successful on Twitter. In other social networks, you can post in a non-constant way. It can be once or twice a week, and these social networks are YouTube and Facebook. Either way, you must define this from the beginning, and you must define the days and times that you will consistently post your content. Likewise, it is recommended that you post on the different social networks based on the best moment of each day. Each social network has better times of the week and during the days to post. That's why it is recommended that you do a research regarding what days and what hours are better to post on which social networks. In general, it has been discovered that the best time to post on social networks is in the late morning and afternoon, especially midweek. Wednesday, specifically. Wednesday is without a doubt the best day to post on social networks. Number 6, you must engage with your audience. Once you start posting content on your social media account, you will continuously get comments and likes on your posts. Since you are becoming an influencer, you must bear in mind that it is vital to be able to connect with your followers. Therefore, you cannot ignore the comments that they make on your posts. You should try to answer as many as possible. In case they give you a compliment, they tell you that your posts are excellent, you should thank them. Or if they ask you questions, try to answer as many as possible. Likewise, an excellent way to engage with your audience is by asking them a question that goes with your post. This will get you to create a conversation and increase the degree of engagement with your audience. When you create this type of conversation, there are interactions. This creates a personal connection with your followers, which will make you much more famous and solidify your position as an influencer. Number 7, you must inform brands that you are open to what is called as brand recommendations. The final step to becoming an influencer is to let the world know that you are open to promoting products. This is known as brand collaborations. You must declare yourself as an influencer who does brand recommendations to attract these sponsors. You do this by just writing in your biography that you are an influencer and that you are interested in collaboration with famous brands. You can include contact information for potential clients. You can inform them to contact you through private message through the social network. Another way to achieve this is by approaching these sponsors and pitching your offer. That's why it is recommended that you create a format of the speech that you are going to give that you can use to send it to various brands. This will save you a lot of time and you will be able to contact many more brands in a short period of time. There are many influencers platforms where brands and influencers can establish contact and get to know each other. It is recommended that you visit them and use them to get the brand recommendations that will make you get sponsored with whom you can generate good money. Another method that you can use to get your brand recommendations is to do what is known as tagging. Tag brands in your posts using their social network profile handles. In this way, they may discover and contact you. You must manage to create a name for your brand, and you should network with the brands that operate in your niche. What you should keep in mind is that making this type of contact takes time. You will not have immediate results, but you will be able to create relationships with this brand in the long term, which will be productive. You must apply this method regularly and be patient to get your brand recommendations. Number 8, be patient. The tips that I just gave you are tips that have already been tested by experts. That's why you must trust them and apply them consistently so that you can get the results you want in the long term. You must be clear that it's a process that requires a lot of time and effort to obtain its results. That's why you must be clear that you will not be able to become an influencer from one day to the next. Anyway, if you manage to do these tips that I propose to you, you will get your results. You will become the influencer you have always wanted to be, and you can make money online regularly thanks to that. After viewing this video, you should understand how to become a social media influencer. In case you still do not have it clear, I would like you to comment in the comment section. What doubts do you still have about it? Another important thing is that you must continue educating yourself about this topic. That's why I would like to invite you to subscribe to my channel so that you can receive much more free information about this topic and other internet marketing strategies. In the same way, I recommend you to press the small bell next to the subscribe button. This way you will receive alerts in your YouTube account and your email at the precise moment when I publish a new video, so that you can be informed much more sooner than other users. Last but not least, I would like to invite you to join my mailing list. You will be informed every time I add new content to my website, and you will receive by email a free internet marketing PDF report every Monday. These reports are concise and easy to read. They will help you quickly understand the information you need to promote your business online. So be sure to subscribe to my mailing list as well. It is completely free. Thank you very much for watching this video. See you later in the next video. Goodbye.